Welcome to Podcast with an Accent. I am your host, David Gillies. This week's guest is a gentleman who goes by the name of Joel Jimenez. He is a stand-up comedian, professional drummer. He's sponsored, so I'm guessing he's a professional drummer, and casual skateboarder. All-round nice guy. Came across Joel through the Kill Tony show. He was the drummer for them. I reached out to Joel last week and said, will you come on my podcast? The dude was like, yeah, man, for sure, 100%. Didn't hesitate it, didn't know me, never chatted to me. Such a nice guy. Throughout the podcast, we talk about comedy, skateboarding, who's helped him throughout his career, and a lot of mental health chat. There's quite a bit of mental health chat that goes on throughout. Please tune in. Please subscribe to his YouTube page. That is Joel Jimenez, or Mostly Sorry, his podcast. He does a podcast with David Derry, who helps out on our Rollings and also helps out Dave Chappelle. So David Derry's not just sports fry. Even Joel Jimenez, such a cool dude, man. Such a cool guy. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my show, Podcast with an Accent. Again, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the homeless, whatever, whoever's got a bit of data, tell them to tune in, and let's get right into the show.
Have we started?
No, we can start whenever, dude.
I say let's do it. Let's do it. I think I probably operate best when I'm just sort of like, I just go for it. I think if I overthink too much, then I'm going to get too in my own head.
Absolutely. I like an awkward start, and that's how I started with Holtzman as well. So,
nice. I think also you're, as somebody plagued with neuroses, I think you're not me, but this wasn't as awkward as probably you feel it is. You're probably losing your fucking mind right now, and it's okay. I'm kidding. I don't know if you're losing your mind.
I'm just really regretting not putting on any antiperspirant deodorant prior to sitting down with you. So
you look fine, dude. Your armpits don't even look wet. It's the rest of you that's the problem.
Getting dark around this area, but we'll save that for later.
But throw a filter on it. Who gives a shit? Put us in black and white. Who knows?
All right. Well, my backdrop's pretty white. I don't know about the contrast. I don't know about contrast. But everybody, this is Joel Jimenez. He is a great drummer, great stand-up comedian. I found out about Joel on the Kill Tony show. He is a ball of energy. He's either right in his shell or he's right out in the middle of the stage. And I really appreciate that, because I know, me personally, I am either the biggest man in the room with the biggest ego in the room, or I'm that dude in the corner. So, Podcast with an Accent audience, welcome Joel Jimenez. Welcome, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I'm interested to know what room you have the biggest ego in. Where do you feel is your sort of comfortable place where you feel like you are, we all have those, even on a small level, those places we go where we feel like, I guess what it is feeling like you belong somewhere, really. I'm interested to know that. Is it a builder thing?
So I'm no longer a builder. I'm an account manager. I'm a sales manager. So I do like to be organized, and I do like to talk to people. I like to sell to people. I like to, I guess, not really sell things to people in a sort of car salesman sort of way. It's more in a sense that I want to try help you, and if the product I have isn't going to help you, I don't really want to sell it to you. So it's really I'm a sort of ethical salesman, which exists. But
so you're a bad salesman. I'm kidding.
I'm a terrible salesman.
I am too.
I'm a friendly guy. I try to be friendly. That's my thing. I try to be a helper. I've always been a helper and a problem solver is what I do. So in that sort of sense, I like all the attention on me if I've prepared, but I don't really like just walking into the room and claiming the room.
I gotcha. Yeah, preparation, man. I always joke that if I was a salesman, the only thing I would sell is myself short.
Yeah, well, I couldn't sell fucking ice to an Eskimo, so it's one of those things. I do like it. I like talking to people. I like helping people. That's sort of how I got into this podcast. I reached out to William Montgomery and said to him, "Your YouTube work and your Instagram work is pretty average. Would you like some help?" And he's like, "Do you know how to do that stuff?" And I'm like, "I wouldn't have a clue, dude, but I'll figure it out for you and I'll help you."
Nice. Hell yeah.
Wasn't a keyboard warrior, and just talked him down and said you're useless and sayonara. It was like, dude,
So
you
are
work on.
you the guy that's put together all those like compilations and stuff on his YouTube?
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Not that person. That
Gotcha.
person's supposedly mentally unstable. No, I'm the person. His
Oh, damn.
Instagram post with the Kill Tony minute sets that he chucked up.
Oh, okay.
That was
Well,
me.
well, what I think is cool is sorry, there's like a bit of a lag on the internet, so when my timing is bad when
Yeah, it's probably me.
I'll try to space it out. It's all good. You're fucking on the other side of the planet. I I missed that. Sorry. There we go. This is gonna be the weird. I'm kidding. All right, here we go. Positive energy. Here we go. I think you got muted or something. Maybe talk. Say something.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. There we go. No, what I was gonna say is what I really liked about that was you had no idea how to do it, but you just sort of took an initiative to start it. And I think that a lot of the things I've done and do in my life begin like that. It's I appreciate that. I heard this quote a long time ago. A buddy of mine said that the angels like enthusiasm a lot more than they like perfection. And I think that a lot of great things in the world are powered, and also they have lasting power because of that energy that goes into it. But anyway, I don't know. I think that that's a cool way to go about things.
Yeah, I think it's for me. I think it's just overthinking so much that those words running through your head, that loud noise, that extra voice in your head. It just comes out. Um,
Mhm.
and the reason I reach out to William and I talk to Holtzman about this is when I write jokes, I can hear other people's voices. Like I can write jokes for other people. Like I could write a joke for William because I could hear his style. So that out of my head because I think that's a pretty annoying thing. But yeah, again, it's just those loud thoughts that just come out of the mouth. And when I was a kid, it was terrible because I had verbal diarrhea, and my mum would be like, "Why did you say that? Why did you say this?" I would say the dumbest things, but it was just the noise in the head is just so loud. It had to come out, right? It was either that or put a muzzle on it, and yeah, so it was
Yeah,
good.
it's hard because you can't put a muzzle on your brain. That's a fucking
Nah,
that's the weird uh figuring out that mix of like I mean I've had that too. That's just I don't know. I'm plagued by that, but that's the comedian thing. I think as far as as it applies to me is like, even with my girlfriend or something, it's like, I'll tell her like, I'll just have to say, I go, I'm sorry. I had to make the joke. I had to do it. I knew it was going to be bad and I had to say it. And, sometimes you got to deal with the repercussions of that if you're in the public eye or things like that. But, yeah.
yeah, be hit or miss. Well, I've seen you on Kill Tony, right? And you've opened your mouth, and it's either been a hitter, and everyone's shunning Joelberg, or as you're just straight into your shower, and you're like, "Oh God, I'm going to pause for another 5 minutes," sort of situation. Which is, that's not the greatest for your mental health, but it's I think that's just a learning curve, right? That's all that is. It's just timing.
Yeah, it's a learning curve, and it's also like the more time went on, the less I cared about any of it. I was just like, because I've seen even all the guests, I've watched them bomb. So it was like I had seen my heroes also have jokes that fell flat. So it was like once I saw, once I humanized the whole thing and realized, like, well, it's just how it is, man. You're swinging for the fences, and sometimes you miss. It's like, and it's okay to miss. You're not gonna die. Um, you might feel like it, but it
Yeah, well,
helps.
some of the comedians talk about how they love bombing, right? And I've talked
Mm.
about this before, how they get off on bombing just because it's sort of like pinching yourself and knowing that you're real. I think it's that sort of
Yeah, that's dangerous, I think too, because when the greats say it, I understand because they figured out a way to bomb with style, or figure out a way to be funny when it's not going well. But I've been in the scene now about 9 years doing stand up, and like I've definitely seen people at mics for years who bomb all the time don't even really know it. They'll get off and be like, they'll think they crushed and stuff like that. And I think that you have to be really conscious and know what's happening. Some people are oblivious to it, but
What do you say to those people? Are other comedians sort of like, do they pander them, or do they?
there's definitely some of that. Yeah. Go ahead, finish your thought because I thought which the next thing you're gonna say. Do they pander them or what?
Just do they, do they pander them, or do they rub their backs, or are they just like, oh, you should just completely change? Because I know, comedy, it's still your job. You're still fighting to be that top comedian, right? So you want to be friends with everybody, but it's sort of a frenemy sort of situation, right?
Um, I don't know, man. That's interesting. A couple things I was thinking when you were saying that. One is, there's a lot of different scenes in LA. I was talking about this to somebody last night. You have LA is pretty big, so there is, the East Side scene, there's the West Side scene, there's all these little pockets of comedy, and so within those pockets of comedy, there are groups of friends who you'll see them together a lot. Not necessarily cliques because there's also people that travel between every single area and are sort of part of every tribe, which is what I always wanted to do. But so within those friend groups, there are those group of friends that will never tell each other the truth. They think that they all are sort of it's this is a I'm gonna tread lightly here because it's um I wouldn't even say let me erase everything I just said. Like, fuck the scenes, right? Like, let's just say if you have a group of delusional people, you're not going to really have a lot of truth in those groups because everybody in those groups is sort of delusional, for lack of a better word. But so there are those groups. Then there are other groups, which is what you want to be a part of, where you don't have yes men around you. Your friends will tell you if you're awful. Um, and I guess it gets harder the more popular you get because it, you'll see it with people like Chappelle or with Rogan. I bet there's people that just blow smoke, are always going to tell them everything they do. And so it's up to them to really decipher, like, and to know thyself. I mean, it's like,
I,
after a show or something, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess you have a good crew around you. You've got Jeremiah and those guys, and
That's what I was gonna say is Jeremiah he'll come up to me after I get off and say, "Hey, can I give you a note?" And I'm always like, "Yes, please."
it definitely keeps you honest. Yeah, I don't like yes people. I was asking people if I was fat for a long time, and everyone's like, "Nah, bro, you look good, you look good, you look good." And then I saw a friend who I hadn't seen in about 3 or 4 years, and the first thing he said to me, he didn't even say hello. First thing he said to me, he goes, "Bro, you are a fat fuck," and I was like, "Oh." I needed to hear that so badly. I got to 115 kgs, which is like, I don't know what that is, like 240 pounds or something.
Okay.
But 6'2".
I
So
I would also say, I mean, I don't know what it's like. I know that
I am sweating, by the way. There
I know
is
I don't really know the culturally.
now.
Oh, you're fine. You look fine. I would be that guy probably could have used a little more tact in
Nah,
the way he told you you had gained weight, but I know there's a cultural thing. I know, it's there's differences, I think, in that, just culturally, I guess, but yeah, part of me is like, yeah, there are times where I bombed and I get off stage and my friend will just look at the bartender and be like, get him whatever he wants. I got it. That was rough, and it
that's a real,
helps.
that's a real friend.
Mhm.
I like black and white. I don't like people who steer away from not a debate, but a proper conversation, right? I think there needs to be positives and negatives in a conversation, and then you find out not this, but you find out that, right? You find out the deeper meaning.
Yeah, those gray areas. Yeah, for me, life is a lot about those gray spaces, man. It's there are things that are definitely black and white, but I like to talk about fucking art and those things a lot. Me and Deary will kind of go off on these esoteric, like, long tirades that really don't mean anything, but we're just sort of trying to figure it out for ourselves. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Neither do I. So that's what I'm learning. So you started going back. You were talking about heroes and people that you've seen bomb. Who are a couple of your heroes? Is it the guys around you, or is it the seniors in the comedy era?
No, I mean it's just everybody. Anybody from, I ran into this kid last night who I had remembered his face and from Mike's because he was pretty good, and I hadn't seen him in a few years, and seen him go up last night and host and do really well, and I was like, whoa, like, so what I mean is like just basically from anybody that's up doing the craft, from a host at an open mic to watching fucking Theo Von go up and crush, or Joey Diaz, or Donnell Rawlings, or people like that. So I'm more, I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, I had a lot of heroes like Carlin and people like that. But now that I'm somewhat involved in the scene, it feels like this entity that I'm inside of. So just sort of watching all the moving parts of the scene are inspiring, and um,
But for you,
yeah,
it's more like you just have respect for the game and respect for people around you, just battling the game and playing it. Like
yeah,
just the fact that they
uh,
get it is, a
yeah.
pretty
Anybody that's in it, man. Anybody that's not, um, there's a lot of dreamers out there, and then there are people that dream and then go do stuff, and so it's like anybody that is in anybody that's in the mix has at least, even if they're not my buddies, I respect them, but there is a bit of a fraternity amongst comedians where we're all in it, and I don't know if frat is kind of a gendered word. I mean it between all people that get up and grab a mic. It's like I've been and I've ran into comics I don't ever talk to, but if we're in another city or something and we're there alone, and we immediately we'll sit down and talk just because we have that thing.
yeah, you're on the same wavelength, right? I just want to acknowledge that
Mhm.
your stream keeps pausing. So you pause for like a second and a half, and then you talk. It speeds the time up. So you are like,
Oh wow.
so
Oh, hilarious.
it's hilarious. It doesn't bother me. This is, round two for me. So, hey, I just appreciate that you're giving
Do
me.
you, do you edit any of these? I mean, you could probably cut all those weird parts out. I don't fucking know how it works.
Yeah, I do everything myself. I do everything myself, and it's just been, I think the era we're in, YouTube is the savior, right? You just YouTube something, and then the type of person I am, I'll problem solve from there and figure it out. So I've got an
Mhm.
audio mixer in front of me, got a mic, got a 1080p 60 frame per second camera going. So we're slowly getting there, but hey, it's again the reason I'm doing this is to check myself, is to get up on stage. It's this is on YouTube now, so I have to do it. And in learning
What's
from,
the
oh,
what's the scene like out there? I mean, are there places for you to get up on stage, or are you sort of waiting till after COVID, or what's your plan?
so there's two things going on for me. Well, I live about, I guess at night time, it would be about 30 minutes from the city. I will have to go into the city. There'll be different spots, so it would have to be a little bit of traveling. I'm also waiting for my daughters to get a little bit older. One's 5, one's 3. So I'm just waiting for them just to get a little bit older. So if I left at night time, it's all good. There's no issue. It wouldn't be an issue anyway, but I think it's just, a respect thing for my family. So it just gives me time to do my homework, talk to you guys and learn from you guys, and um, watch other podcasts, watch other comedians, and yeah, just learn about myself. Listening to podcasts, listening to yourself, listening to Joey Diaz talk about anxiety and depression. Man, I've learned a lot about myself. How I was not accepting to my mental health. So it's cool. This is all just a long road for me, and then once I can get to that hurdle, I'm going to jump it, and then I'll be up on stage, and that will be probably. I should put a timeline on it. It should be in the next 6 months. I really want to get up on stage, but I want to do it.
Eh,
I want to do it. my thing is, and all you comics talk about it, is you need to get up on stage, not once a week or once a fortnight or once a month. I want to try to get up on stage like 3 times a week, which is, not going to be easy doing a full-time job, having a wife and kids. But that's when I'm there, have that sort of time in my life, that's when I want to hit it, when I can actually do 3 or 4 a week. And then I can actually get the ball rolling and see if I'm funny or not. I don't know if I'm funny. That's the other thing, right? Who's to say you're funny? That's very subjective.
Yeah.
People say I'm funny. People always enjoy, I guess, my personality. I'm very sarcastic. Everything is a joke to me. But yeah, who's to say I'm funny? I might be funny in one group, and in another, I'm just, I don't know, probably just dead air.
I think yeah, I heard once, three at least 3 times a week is best. And yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I'll say I'm trying to I'll say this in the nicest way possible. I think other than being funny, it definitely seems like you're kind of and I mean this as a strength, will be a strength, is you sort of, it seems like you overthink and you're a little bit um you're I want to know that stuff. I feel like that, like your true sort of inner anxiety and stuff like that might end up being like the funniest stuff about you.
I and it's I think for me, I think getting up on stage, it might be quite therapeutic, is actually opening up, because I don't
Mm,
open up. I guess the Kiwi culture isn't to open up. Where we've definitely changed that culture in the last, I'd say, in the last 5-10 years. That culture's definitely changed. We've had like All
mm.
Blacks, rugby players here, talk about mental health and things like that. So yeah, I think my mental health will come into play when I get up on stage. I think differently as well. I think, uh, when I hear comedians talk about the way they think and how they, start with a joke and then sort of end up with I guess, the hitter at the end. Um, my brain sort of goes that way too. Like, I walk around and I see things and I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, for instance, I think it's fucking awkward that people over 50 are smoking vapes. I think it's the weirdest thing. I'd rather see a 50-year-old smoke a cigarette and know that they're going to die, so I don't feel awkward, right? Because I think that is the weirdest thing. But then you see a teenager smoking a cigarette and you're like, that is so wrong. But I'd rather see a 50-year-old smoke it and I don't feel awkward knowing he's going to die, because them sucking on a robot's dick, I think, is
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. So I'll walk down the street and I'll see weird things like that, and my brain will try and write a joke out of it. And it's always been like that. Even
Mhm.
remember when I was a kid, my brain would always go down that track. But I've never done theatre. Like, the same as you, I've got written down here, you dropped out in 10th grade, which I had to research that. So that's like 15, 16. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. 17 maybe. I don't remember. But you're about right.
I dropped out at 16. My parents are like, you've got to go. You don't do anything at school. You hate it. I was only there for sports and girls. Um,
Mhm.
so, I do, I guess,
Two things I had none of in high school. I'm kidding.
yeah.
Sports or girls? No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I had a
no,
girlfriend.
something I did want to talk to you about later was, you're into skateboarding, right? You're a pretty good skater.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, skateboarding's
I'm
dope.
okay. Yeah.
It's definitely a sport, 100%. It's more a sport than bloody spelling bee or chess that put on ESPN. Kudos to those people,
Yeah, it's
but
definitely athletic. Yeah.
it's definitely athletic. Moving or spelling a word's not overly athletic. It is, I guess, these muscles in your brain, so I guess that's part of it. But leaving school at 15, 16, has that helped you with your comedy world? Like, because you've lived, you're born, I'm only guessing your age, you're born at 86, 87, 88?
87. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
34. January 18th, 1987.
Oh, so you just had your birthday. Yeah, I'm 87 as well. I'm November 87.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Go to 87. It's the year of the crash, the bank crash. So that's awesome. We, we also won the Rugby World Cup here in New Zealand for the first time.
Oh,
So
nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for 87. But so for me, dropping out of school when I was 15, 16, I've been working or studying ever since. So I have lived, I guess, a pretty decent adult life. So for you've been the same. Has that helped you on your journey? Has that made you, I guess, not wiser, but just more onto it compared to your fellow comedians that are your age, because you have been walking the streets since you were 16, 17, and, had to jump into that world a bit earlier rather than kids that, go to do high school all the way to the end and then do college for a couple of years, become college dropouts, because those people are just baby, you had to grow up at 16, 17 and, you know, get a
Yeah,
job.
I don't know. I guess maybe I still haven't really grown up. I mean, I'm not sure. I think that um the things that maybe have are fear because I'm fucked. Like I have to anything that I want, I kind of have to work like twice as hard for, which is my own fault. I'm not a martyr or anything. And then also I think dropping out was just a symptom of having like an unorthodox mind, and I think I'm not like special or anything, but I just didn't feel like I fit into that rigid system. And so I think the dropping out was almost a symptom of that original thing. And I think that that original thing is really what has helped me sort of view the world in a different way, not the other way around, where the other way around definitely has put pressure on me to carve out a different way or something. And who knows, I might end up fucking homeless or dead in the next 10 years, whatever, God forbid. But,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
um, but I'm just saying, like, my life's not over yet, so who knows what the fuck happens. But as of now, it's definitely, it does light a bit of a fire, a fear fire under you, where I have not a lot of options, and so I have to be really good at those options, or
And
at least persistent.
where do you want this to take you then, in that case? Do you want to follow the comedy route all the way to the end? What is the end goal? Is the end goal to be on TV? Like it sort of seems like for Jeremiah, that sort of seems like his end goal is to be on TV. Or is your end goal be
I
in
think,
stadiums? Or sorry, or is it just to
no,
ride the
go.
wave? Or is your end goal just to keep riding the wave with your friends and seeing how that gets there? Because if you go with the flow and you put out good energy, because that's what I'm a firm believer of, that you go with the flow, put out good energy and love people and respect people. Good karma will come your way if you ride the wave correctly, right? If you play the game correctly. So yeah.
Yeah, I would hope that to ride the wave would be sort of the lifestyle that I want to try to achieve, and living in the moment. But I think my ultimate goal, I mean, not to bring up finances, but it would be awesome to pay my bills and have a happy, comfortable life from my art. Whatever that is, whether it's um drums or comedy, just to be able to live off of art is the ultimate goal, I think, for all of us. But then also to me, the older I get, the less I give a fuck about really anything other than being mentally healthy and happy and having the like loved ones around me. That's all the rest of the shit is sort of superficial. It's nice, it's cherries on top, but it's I don't know how much fame really, how much like mental real estate that we should allow that to have in our brains. If it happens, that's cool, but I'm not willing to what do they say? You can gain the world for the price of your soul. I'm not interested in that.
So oh man, I've gone a little bit blank for a second there. So
It's a
okay, right, well, riding the wave, because that's something I live my life by. Is that you want the money, but you don't want the 10 sport cars. You don't want the you know it's not really about that, right? It's more the, I guess, the pure side of comedy and trying to just win it and get respect from your peers, and
Mhm.
the checks will come with it.
Also, not to cut you off, but that's why I got into this shit, was like watching videos of comics all hanging out at a diner or something. And I was like, I want to be one of those guys. It seemed like the mafia to me. And so it was a trip when I was in there and I was like, oh, like I became one of these people. It's fun. It's really all I wanted. And that was respect of my peers and to express myself,
It was the same with skating, right? Watching the kids skateboard, and you're like, man, I want to be with those guys.
Yeah,
These guys are
yeah,
cool.
kind of, man. I remember seeing the older kids than me with skateboards and yeah, definitely wanting to be a part of that also. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as me watching the skaters down at the skate park. My brother's older friends, and then they knowing who I was, and like, come hang out with us. And I'm like, can't hang out with you guys. You're way older, and you guys can do shit. I can't do anything on a skateboard, but I'm keen to watch and chill. It's I tend to gravitate to like groups like that as well. So for you, gravitating to groups like that, does that help with your mental health? Because for me, I think males definitely need to be around other males, sort of find themselves talking. You don't need to talk about your mental health, but talking about talking, just chatting, just not listening to the noises upstairs and just sort of chatting. So for you, with your mental health, is there anything that you use to get by? Is there anything that you use to uh, just to escape reality? And I don't mean by like alcohol or drugs. It's more just maybe meditating or going for a run or going for swimming or writing. How do you tie it? Does mental health doesn't need to tie into comedy, but how do you deal with your mental health, and then how does it cross over?
I mean, the phrase "by any means necessary" comes into play. It's like really anything and everything. I've done meditation. As a kid, I took medication. I'll have a drink here and there. I'll whatever, read, music, all of that. I think it, I don't know. I've searched for a really long time for anything to calm my thoughts down, and I'm still in it. It's a whirlwind. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a learning process. Somebody put it this way. They said, like, mental health is not, there's no glamorous cure. It's like a house plant. You gotta water it on the daily to keep it alive. And I
Yeah,
definitely relate to that a lot. That's what it is. I'll do it all, man.
I like that. I relate to that too. Well, I love that's cool. I'm going to hold on to that because I like that. I also Dolly Parton said, if you want the rainbow, you've got to fight with the rain. And I
Yeah.
really believe that's like something. Once I heard that, man, that stuck to me so much because
Mm.
I do want the rainbow, but I know that rain, that thunderstorm, is always coming. For me, it's like the eye of the storm. So
Yeah, that stuff scares me too, though. That I have to sort of work hard to get rid of the thinking that, and I'm not saying this is what you're saying, but a lot of time in my life, I'm like waiting for the next bad thing to happen. And so it robs me of the joy that I can have in the moment because I'm always like, well, what's next? What's next? It's like sometimes, and then, what do they say? Like your anxiety or depression is like thinking about the past and the future and never being aware of the present. And I'm very, very guilty of that. And I'm sort of working on that slowly to stop that thinking that something bad is always around the corner. It's hard though.
So I'm the opposite. I'm always hoping for the good around the corner. I'm always thinking I'm living in the bad and always searching for the good.
Interesting.
And I tell my friends, if if you had one bad day, that's fine. If you had two bad days, again, that's fine. But if you had 3, 4 bad days back to back, then you've got an issue. Then you're in a bad way. So
That's a perspective thing, right? I think at that point there's no such, I mean, maybe there is. We go through those, but I think 4 bad days in a row, if everybody else is sort of not picking up on that, you gotta like look inside and be like, well, why are these 4 days bad? Am I looking at them that way?
Yeah. You got to check yourself, right? And I've told a couple of friends, if you're having 3 or 4 bad days in a row, check yourself and make sure on that fourth day, that fifth day, that you go out for a swim. That you go talk to some pretty ladies, or go get a nice haircut. Go buy some cool shoes, or go skateboard and put your earpods in and go for a jam. Go for a skimboard, go for a surf, do whatever. Go to a comedy set. That's another thing. Go to a comedy set, sit in the crowd and have a laugh. put some money into the economy and have a
Yeah,
laugh.
there could be like a could be a chemical imbalance or you know that yeah it's just it's good to be aware of that stuff. I'm
Right.
also like I'm also aware that sometimes like if you have a legitimate chemical imbalance or you're like clinically depressed that sometimes getting up to go do things is it's hard to even get out of bed sometimes, so that's when you really got to like be like oh man, but it's hard to when you're in the storm sometimes you don't know you're in it, you
Yeah,
know it's
I've
fucking
been like that so
crazy.
many times. There's been multiple times I haven't been able to get out of bed, and my wife will be like, "Are you going to work?" And I'll be like, "I can't. I'm sick." And she won't even test me. She won't ask me, do you have a stomach ache? Whatever. Do you have a headache? Do migraines? Whatever. She'll know instantly if I've just like I feel sick. But it's really I literally just cannot get out of bed. I cannot face
Yeah.
the world. I can't answer those emails. I can't answer those phone calls. So it's yeah. Um, it is. I think personally, it's all about checking yourself. In a positive way, not a negative way, but just checking yourself,
Mhm.
just letting you know you're in a bad way. Go do something about it. Go watch a movie. Go listen to some music that makes you that feel good music, right? Maybe some Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin, maybe some Nirvana. I don't know.
Yeah, you know it's a good one is thinking about things that you're grateful for, you know? That's being grateful or helping somebody else will kind
Yes.
of can get you out of that, you know. Even small things, you know, your eyesight, your fingers, waking up that morning, you know.
So my thing, 100%. So my thing was, I used to just tell myself that I live in New Zealand. That was my thing. Was dude, you live in
Yeah.
New Zealand. These kids that live in Africa, that they've got like worms coming out of the eyeballs and things like that. Or they're born with AIDS and things
Mhm.
like that. They're eating mud cakes for breakfast. It's like, dude, you live
Mhm.
in New Zealand. It doesn't
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
stop
fucking
crying, stop crying. Slap yourself around and move on. It's like
that,
your brain
yeah, yeah, that's
your
yeah, it's
brain doesn't
interesting.
judge. Your brain, your brain does its own thing. Your brain doesn't know you're rich. Your brain doesn't know you're poor. So that sort of thing. That chemical imbalance side of it. Your brain doesn't know that. Your brain just is. But those voices, you can definitely tell those voices. You're living in a better world than so many people. It's like go find that flower outside and sniff it, sort of situation. Smell the roses while you're about, rather than
Yeah.
letting them land on your casket. So, I am a firm believer of, checking myself and telling myself there are great things around you. Get to watch sports,
Mhm.
get to hang out at the beach. Like with New Zealand, we haven't been really locked down that much. I know I was whining
Mhm.
about it before, being
No,
locked.
you guys kind of got it nipped in the bud like a while ago, right?
Yeah, we did. We're an isolated island, or two islands. So three if we're getting serious. But yeah, we're an isolated big island, so we can just close our borders and move on. But like Trump said, he wanted to close his borders, and everyone said he was a bad person for it, and he had a great person anyway. But he was definitely his the way he was thinking at that era of time, he was definitely right. He should have closed the borders to everybody, Canada, Mexico, everybody. Just and then just contain it and then move forward. Close it for 2-3 months and then move forward. And then you're not locked down for what have you guys been locked down for? 13 months now?
Yeah, it's a little bit over a year. Yeah, yeah, but it's not real. I mean, it's weird. It's like being here, it's not that much I mean, things are there's not a lot of like places to do live comedy, but it's definitely not what people are like making it out to be. I mean, I take my girlfriend to work. I got some coffee at the coffee shop today.
Nice.
I have a show tonight. It's like, you know,
Yeah, I
we're
saw that.
adapting. It's not I think a lot of it is like this like woe is me, like martyr syndrome. Like, oh, things are so bad. It's like, all right, it's fine. Everything's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always, sunshine on the horizon. So you got a
For
show
sure.
tonight.
Yeah, I
When
have a show.
was the last time you performed?
I went up last night at an open mic, but that was definitely before that it was November. So
Oh,
it's been a fucking while, dude. Yeah, and
and
I
last.
felt it last night for sure. It was a doozy. I mean, it was. It, went well for everybody watching, but inside my head and body, it was real rough. I got off stage and my friend said, good job. And I was like, I felt extremely stiff. I did not know which hand to hold the mic in. I didn't know how I was standing. It was, maybe to people's perception outside, they're like, oh, that was great. But I felt really uncomfortable.
Your brain eating itself. How many minutes did you do on stage?
I did a little over 5. And so tonight I'm doing 12. And so that'll be interesting. And my girlfriend is bringing 3 of her friends who have never seen me. So that's, I better be good, dude. I've been on this kick of like not drinking for about let me see, I have a thing here just because I just wanted to see what that was like. I've been sleeping better and stuff like that. But I think tonight, Saturday night, be right before the show, might be a time to have just a little drinky poo.
Yeah, have a little one, but don't overdo it.
Just to sort of chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Have a little bit, but don't go overboard. Don't let their brain.
No!
Don't let their brain eat you. You since you stopped drinking, because I remember you talking about you stopped drinking. You look so much better. You look, your skin looks clear and things like that. So you do look like a happy person. So
yeah, thanks. No, I'm sort of.
We do notice these things, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also just trying to be conscious of like, I've enjoyed my life since I've taken a break. It's like my mornings are nice. I'm sleeping better. So I don't want to drink to the point where I wake up tomorrow and feel like I drank at night. I want it to just be like, a little bit before and just have a responsible good time, not like a raging, psychopath. But
yeah, well, you still want to be witty, right? You still need to have that wit about you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh man, I've seen if you're not like a master at comedy, you can tell when somebody's fucked up. I was thinking about it last night. My brother, one of the first times I had a show, he was like, you're drunk, huh? I was like, yeah, what do you mean? I guess I was slurring my words or whatever, but so you got to be careful. What I found is like a shot and maybe a beer or something or even just a shot is like the perfect sort of like just a little bit of a here we go,
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
You don't recommend getting William Montgomery drunk before?
I mean, he can do it. I think he's an interesting character. I love the guy. He's a great. I mean, he's the real deal. And sometimes when you're the real deal, you're super talented, and you just got to let those people find their own path. So he'll figure it out eventually.
I truly hope so, because I've reached out to him many times. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. He's part of the reason I'm doing a podcast, is because I had the audacity to ask you, the audacity to ask.
It's good. It's part of it, man. Yeah. I love Brian Holtzman, by the way. What a fucking dude, man.
I fucking love him. And I've got my friends onto him. And, so on my podcast, I'm going to have like a segment for every comedian that comes on. So for you, it's been mental health. I was going to actually do it at the end, but it's just flowed. So I'm cool with that, and I'm really enjoying our chat. But for him, I did a pet peeve because I know he loves to go on his rants. So me and him did a couple of rants, and it was so funny. He's so good.
One of the coolest moments I had was seeing him in the main room. I think he closed out the main room. So like, I don't know if he replaced the Brody spot, but like, so Brody Stevens used to close the main room. And I got to see that once. And then but Holtzman one night, what they would do is the room is completely dark except for like a spotlight on Holtzman. And it is a really fucking cool, it has that like theater effect almost, it brings the attention to him. And I was sitting with a buddy in the back, and it was just such a trip. Be a really cool experience, and I've been lucky enough to be on his show and meet him and stuff. He's a good comedian, man.
In that episode, he's awesome. He's so funny, and he's such a sweet guy. And I think if you watch him for 5-10 minutes, you're like, is this guy just a prick? Is he just an asshole? But if you watch him for 20 minutes, you're like, oh, he's really funny. And then if you watch him for hours, you're like, he is just a sweet guy who strives on dead air. That's the reason for his podcast. He loves dead air. He loves to make you feel awkward, and he loves to see your reaction, see how you're going to interact with him. And I love that, because I think that's funny. I do that too. I've been known to make up lies, and nothing nasty or stuff, but just to see how people react. Like I've told a girlfriend get my friend's name was something different. And just the whole night she was calling him the wrong name. And it was, to me, I thought that
Funny.
was the fucking
Yeah.
funniest thing. When I told her on the drive home, she was not impressed. It probably was, it was the start of a downfall, to be fair. But no, to me, I love making up lies. You know, one guy was hitting on my wife. We're at our wedding, and I told him
Wait, he was hitting on your wife at your wedding?
Excuse me, at our wedding. That would be fucking awkward. I probably would have let it slip though. But yeah, I went ahead and chat with him, and I just started making up lies. I just told him I was like a New Zealand water polo representative. My day job, my day job's a salesman, but my night job's actually I'm a male stripper and things like that. And he just started like fucking backing down. He was like this big dude. He was good looking, like, and I just like alphaed him out with lies, and it was so funny to me. And I just backed him into a corner, and it was just I like to see
you mentally got him.
Yeah, mentally got him. Yeah. I also do things like I don't talk up my wife, right? Because my wife knows I love her, and she knows, my opinion of her. So when people ask me my opinion on my wife, I'm like, yeah, she's all right. I don't think that.
Yeah.
And we were at the same wedding, and I was talking to this lady, and she was asking me, she was like, your wife is just beautiful. She was a girlfriend at the time. She was a bridesmaid at this wedding. She was like, oh, your girlfriend's so beautiful. She's so sweet. She's so nice. I was like, yeah, she's all right, I guess so. And she just kept talking her up, and I was just talking her down. And then my girlfriend wife came over and said, oh, what are you guys chatting about? And this girl just whispered in her ear and goes, you need to break up with this guy. He's a fucking asshole. And walked off. Didn't even say bye to me.
Hilarious.
And my wife just cracks up laughing. She knows what I'm like. She cracks up laughing straight away. She's like, what have you been saying? And she was like, oh, well, we had a 10-minute conversation of her talking you up. And so I spent the whole 10 minutes talking you down. And so she thinks I'm an asshole. And my wife thought that was hilarious, just because I don't know. I think, again, making people feel awkward and seeing how they react, I think it's so
well,
fun.
Also, what's fun about that is like you and your wife are on the same page with that. I mean, me and my girlfriend are the same, where it's if I say something, she knows exactly what I'm talking about or what I'm where I'm at with it mentally.
Definitely in a room, right, of people, and you say something, and then she looks at you and just gives you the side eye, but it's a good side eye, right? You're like, oh yeah,
yeah, for sure.
You're playing at everyone right now, and it's so funny. I enjoy it. I love rocking people up, and that's.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's why I gravitated to Holtzman, right? He loves rocking people up. I'd love to be in the room watching people walk out on him. I would probably get off on that, to be honest. I think I really.
It's fun, man.
Yeah, I bet it is. Now, skating, I just wanted to touch base on skating because it's, every time I watch it on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, it's just like, that is so awesome. So I was interested to know, even though it's not really about my podcast, it's supposed to be, about comedians and comical, whatever, but who's your favorite skater, pro and underground? Just this is all for me. This is
cool. Well, first off, I'll say that there's a lot of similarities between stand-up and skateboarding. I mean, it's trying something a million times until you get it right.
Yeah.
Right. And sort of the consequences of that, and the tenacity that you learn about, going for it until you achieve the goal. And I don't know, probably growing up, my favorite skateboarder was like Guy Mariano and Mike Vallely were two of my favorites. There's so many. I mean, there's little things I like about all kinds of. There's a guy named, actually, I think he's either from us. I think he might be Australian or I think he's from New Zealand. Richie Jackson. I think he might be from New Zealand. Yeah, he's really an interesting sort of creative skateboarder.
What does he skate, dude? Does he skate street?
Yeah, he does a bunch of weird stuff. Like some people might call it circus tricks, but I love it.
Real. Yeah, I love that stuff. I was going to say he is a New Zealander, dude. You're
There
right.
you
You're
go.
bang on.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a total like 70s Woodstock guy, like he's in Santana's band or something. But I saw him doing like board slides on literal like on chains and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I know this dude. He's a Kiwi. That's Buzzy Ed. I did not know that. So is he like the new age version of like Rodney Mullen? Sort of, you going down that sort of track?
Um, I guess so. I guess so. He's just in his own sort of like world. I don't think he's really like anybody else. That's what I liked about him, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say Rodney Mullen's my favorite skater.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's amazing.
That's
Yeah, I'd have to say that.
Just watching those skate videos back in the days in the 90s and early 2000s had just been like, oh my God, what, this dude doing dark slides? Like, what the fuck? How do you do that? Like, how do you
I
slide
know.
wave, you know? Like, it was just mind blowing. And just the nose manuals, box to box, and things like that. And just kick
Oh yeah.
nose manual. Like, people were doing that stuff, and this just blew my mind, eh? Him and Kareem Campbell were definitely, because Kareem Campbell had style. That's why I really like
Oh,
him.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like,
He
guys always
changed a
bring
lot,
stuff
man.
into things, for sure. But yeah, now Rodney Mullen, just watching him as a kid, and then obviously Tony Hawk's, he's just, when him and Danny Hay there started going on the vert ramps, just pointing the
Yeah.
elements, right? That's what you always appreciate. I guess that's where, again, skateboarding and comedy crossover is pushing, seeing how far where that boundary line is, and seeing if you can go beyond it.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at something and not thinking it's impossible, but going like, how do I do that?
Yeah, there's no
You know,
ceiling to it.
I don't think Rodney Mullen ever was like, oh, that's impossible. I think his brain was just trying to figure out how he could do something, you know.
Which is awesome. I respect that. I think it's so cool to be able to just
Problem solving, man.
problem solving and sort of lose yourself in it, and not listening to the noise around you, right? People telling you no, people saying this is not for you. Sometimes people are right when they say that, but definitely, when you have
There's Rodney Mullen wrote a book or with somebody. It's kind of like a teenager sort of book, but it's his biography. It's called The Mutt, I believe. I would recommend reading it. You know, he talks a lot about growing up and sort of the way his mind works and stuff like that, and his work ethic. And it's pretty. I don't know if it's actually teenage. It's good for any. It's just written like so a teenager could understand it, but I would recommend that to anybody.
well, my reading age doesn't go past the reading age of a teenager, so that was
Perfect.
for me. The Mutt, yeah, you're 100% right. John Rodney Mullen. His name's not even Rodney. There you go. I did not know that. His name's John.
Damn.
Yeah,
Interesting. That's crazy.
Rodney's
I didn't think I even thought of that.
54 years old. He's getting old, eh?
How old? 54?
Yeah, 54. He was born in 66 in
Dang.
Florida.
Wow. Interesting.
Really?
That's wild.
He's a cool dude. People like that just pushing the thing. And then, again, you could line him up with Holtzman. Just pushing it like those type of comedians that will just push it. Your Jim Carrey's, your Eddie Murphy's and that back in the days.
Have you ever seen Rodney Mullen did a TED talk that's also pretty interesting. You should check that out. It's pretty cool.
Check that out. I would be really keen. Now, talking about your drumming, I am not musical at all. I played the violin when I was a little kid. My brothers hated me for it. My mother only did it probably because she thought I was maybe on the spectrum. So they're trying to see if I had this special talent, see if they can make money for me. No, my parents aren't like that. But, it's always good to see if the kid is on the spectrum and maybe does just pick up a violin and, bang out a tune. I definitely couldn't bang out a tune, but I had got made to play an assembly every week. So it was awful. But you're a dope drummer, and to let the fans know, Joel is sponsored by Ludwig. So probably never heard someone pronounce it like that. But yeah, that's dope, man. I think it's mad respect that, that you can go out there and have, be multidimensional. You got your stand up, but you've brought drumming into the scenario. How did that come about with Kill Tony? obviously you're friends with Pat and you're friends with Jeremiah. You went up on stage 2017, September 2017. You went up first time for Kill Tony. What happened after that? So you obviously, I watched the set last night.
Yeah, I think I went up. I think it was like,
I got it here.
yeah, some 14, 15 something.
September 2017 is when the first time you went up for Kill Tony.
Oh, interesting. No, I think it might have been before that. I think maybe that's when they uploaded it. I'm not sure.
Well, I did some research on it last. I've done a little bit of research on you.
Yeah. No, I don't fucking know. Let me see. I'm gonna do. But go ahead. You were saying?
No, you did a joke about anxiety, which absolutely killed. That was a hard hitter straight off the bat. It was about you. Is it hot in the room? Was it just me because I'm having a panic attack? You know?
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. This was. I'm trying to see when it actually happened. Oh yeah, 2016, I guess. So yes, February 8th, 2016. Was
start looking at that's embarrassing.
No, it's all good. The upload date above it is what you said. Wait, and then Kill Tony underneath that is yeah.
Let the panic attack set in. Okay. So you went up for the first time then, anyway, with the date that you're saying.
And I'm not even sure that's the fucking date. Who knows what the truth is?
Some dudes uploaded it. Oh, yeah, man. You're 100% right. So it was. Is this American date or New Zealand? Oh, English date. 2nd of the 8th. Yeah, February the 8th, 2016. You're 100% right. Man, I hate to read your guys' dates twice, because you guys put the month first.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Put the date first, you know. Well, we try to simplify things around. But you went up, you killed it. What happened after that? How did you get back up on stage with those guys?
So I had already known, me and Pat have been friends forever, man, and I used to just roll with them every week because I didn't have a license or a car, and I would just show up and sign up and fucking drink beer in the back of the room and watch and hope to get called. And luckily enough, I did have the sort of, once I went up, Pat kind of hit him with this is the drummer of the Baby Boys. So I had a bit of a way in, and I did well enough to where I saw Tony at the bar after, and he said that every time he saw me, he wanted me to say hi to him anytime I was there, and so I just did that, and I kept doing it, and I didn't have a drum set small enough to fit up there because we used to be in the belly room, which is a lot smaller, and I found a literal toy kids bass drum at a thrift store and got that and fixed it up and then I told Pat, hey, I got a drum set small enough to fit up there, and that was it. I went with him that Monday, and I tell everybody I sort of sank my claws into it. They were gonna have to fucking get me to leave because I wasn't gonna do it on my own.
That's awesome, mate. And so you've sort of got to have that audacity to try your luck, right? That's definitely part of it. If there's a small opening, you've got a gun for it. You can't just sit back and watch it, because there are people who are too, that are at the start gate as well. And once the gun goes, they're gonna leap straight away. So yeah, I commend you for doing that and having the cojones or the audacity to do it. I think
it's also just fear. A lot of it is like, well, if I don't do this, what else am I gonna do? I have to get in here now. And also just fun. Like, who the fuck doesn't want to do that? It's like a no brainer, man.
Yeah. So do you strive on that fear? Does that fear come into play with comedy? Is it sort of, you get off on it a little bit? Because I know I do. I do get off on that sort of panic attack fear, because I always got made to do all the prize givings and things like that for sports. I had to do all the talking and things like that, and I would be having panic attacks, but at the same time I'd be getting off on it. It was a very, I don't know, it was very egotistic.
Well, it's a thrill, man. I think it just depends how you channel it. I mean, definitely some of those drum offs that I've had I'm just completely terrified. There's backstage footage of me going like, oh fuck, here we go, and then And the second you walk out, you have, it's like you got to do it. I mean, you have to do it. So I like the idea that there is no running and hiding. As soon as they say your name, you have to. Same thing with
Oh,
theater, right? Like, it's when I was doing like theater, it's like the show starts at 7.
yeah.
That's it. So if you're nervous, like, sorry, tough shit, you gotta go at 7 when it's time to go. There's people here.
How long were you doing
Um,
this for?
I want to say, let's see, maybe 3 years, something like that.
And how
And
did?
I did a couple.
Sorry, go on.
No, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, how did you get into that? Because I have watched a couple of your clips, and you did say that, like myself, you didn't do anything like that at high school. So,
Yeah, I always wanted to be an actor, and my mom got a flyer for an open casting call for a play they had written about my neighborhood, and so I
oh,
went to the audition and got it, and then through that, like, the director of that passed my name to another director, got that show, went back to this other one. I just sort of I got my, again, threw myself into it and like did my best so I could be a part of the scene, and yeah, that was it. Ended up getting like a theater award in
oh,
2011 or 12,
yeah,
and then it was an interesting thing because I had already started doing stand up, and so part of my award was that I would be an ensemble member with this group for a year, and it was fun, but I love stand up so much that it started to sort of uh, theater started taking me away from stand up for a little bit, and so in the end, I kind of ended up resenting the theater for pulling me away from that. But I'm very grateful, and I learned a lot.
yeah. I was going to say you must have learned so
That was
much
just
from
at the
that.
moment. Now I look back at it with, oh, for sure, it was great. I met a lot of really wonderful, smart people, and it was mostly that I just didn't know how to prioritize the time because the theater thing is such a time consuming. You got 3 months of rehearsal, and then you have to do the run of shows, and you're doing 4 shows a week, sometimes the matinee and the whatever. So, but I love it. Maybe at some point I'll do it again. Who knows?
You should, man, because you should see if you can open that book up. And if you
Mm,
open that book up, you might be able to, expand that book, and then hopefully it will cross back over into comedy.
yeah,
And
for sure.
learn some more. You'll come across new people again. And that's one thing I love. You come across new people, you learn new things, right? And then
For
you
sure. Yeah.
take away from it. So you should definitely dive back into it. I think it's
Even if I was like maybe writing something or maybe writing a play or directing or whatever it is, who knows? I'm all for. I
that's
like art across the board, so
yeah, that's something you want to do is write a screenplay or write a comedy TV show or
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm trying to. I started work on this little thing that I want to do maybe like a more like not a comedic thing maybe, but we'll see. I've done a couple shorts in the past, and so I have some ideas, but
dark
but
shorts,
I'm
right?
also a procrastinator, so it's hard for me to. What's that?
They were dark, right? They were dark
Yeah,
shorts.
they were pretty dark. Yeah, some of them are not. Will never see the light of day because my partner, we talked the other day, and it was like, oh, some of those we were just like really ignorant and sort of like wanted to do the craziest shit. Now you look back at it and you're like, maybe that shouldn't be out there.
Yeah, but again, it's all learning, right? It's all
Yeah, for sure. We were
yeah,
kids.
maybe
Not
it's not
kids.
for
I was
maybe it's not for the CV, but it's definitely for the brain, right? It's still learning. It's still something you can hold
for
on.
sure.
It's just hours, right? It's just doing that time.
Hmm.
It's just doing what you love, and I don't know, learning about yourself as well. I guess those early years of between 17 and probably 22, 23, you're just learning about yourself at the same time, right? And
Yeah,
it,
for
I
sure.
think I'm sort of happy that I will get into comedy later on in life. Because in my early 20s, there would be no way in hell I'd be able to get up on stage. I would probably, panic attack would cross over into a heart attack, I reckon. Like it would be real bad.
Yeah.
Just not loving yourself, because those years, the voice is very loud in your head between 17 and for me anyway, it was between 17 and 23. Their
Hmm.
voice was so loud, and it wasn't a positive voice. Like I didn't see my own face or my own reflection for maybe like 8 months. I didn't see. I never looked in the mirror. I wouldn't look at puddles. I wouldn't look at shops, or wouldn't see my reflection. I didn't know what I looked like for 8 months. I would shave blind 8 months, just
Whoa.
like I
See,
could.
that's funny, man. That's something you should hold on to. I mean, there's a concept there of not looking at yourself for 8 months. You know, there's shit to be unearthed there.
Sweet, I'll hold on to that. I'm trying to let that go, but I'll hold on to that.
No, I mean, well, that's the thing you're gonna run into, you know. It's the things you want to let go are the things that end up setting you free in the long run, because it's like, you know, here's what I'll say too. It's like you were talking a lot about observations, and it's like what I found with observation, some of the best advice I ever got was I was doing a lot of observational stuff, and a friend of mine was saying that, you know, if you do observations, other people also have those same observations. So you run the risk of running into jokes that other people also have. But
I'm
if you
so
talk
worried
about
about it.
your life, yeah, if you talk about your life, nobody else has lived your life. You know, there's very rare that anybody I've ever met has not looked into a puddle or looked at themselves for 8 months. So I think that's an original thought, and you know, pretty interesting, I think. And so, you know, let's just, for example, like the vaping thing, and you'll learn this as you do comedy and are in the scene and stuff. You'll see people doing those jokes, and eventually you're not going to want to be the next guy with the vape joke. You know, you're going to want to go up and be original. And so I think, I don't know, there's something to be said about like excavating your own life, you know, will
Dude,
serve you, I believe.
I appreciate that so much. I truly do, because I have been writing a little bit about that smoking stuff. So no, I do appreciate it. I and Tony says it as
And
well.
I'm not saying you won't find an original
Oh,
take
no,
on those things, you know, but
no, I appreciate it. No, Tony Hinchcliffe talks about it all the time. He's just like, people do this 60-second set on Kill Tony, and he's like, that your set was average, but for some reason Tony's got a very good ear. He knows when people are funny, and he extracts it out of them about their real life and how funny it is. And then you're like, oh, this person is funny. They just don't know how to write yet, and
yeah.
that's just a time thing, right? So I do appreciate that. Only talking about yourself is original. It can, it can only fall back on you. The wavelengths don't cross over with people, because I imagine people do have vape jokes. My vape joke was going to lead into like a smoking joke about pregnant women smoking, and then how babies come out with nicotine addictions. Because I sat next to a woman who, she was past her due date, and she was smoking dairy, just chain smoking. So she was past her 9 months due date. And when babies come out, they come out with a nicotine addiction, right? Which is the most disgusting, saddest thing ever. But me being dark, I fucking spin it thinking it's funny that, this baby's yelling at its mum saying, "Give me the fucking lighter because I can't use my opposable thumb. Hurry up, bitch, and light me a cigarette because I can't use my thumb." My brain just straight away went there, rather than thinking, "Oh, this baby's going to have a shit life now." And I heard that baby's not sleeping, so it's probably the reason why. But it's just, my brain definitely goes down that track. It goes dark, and it tries to find.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have all those. Yeah, I'd say fucking write it all down, do it all, and then you'll start to see what really works, what doesn't. But
like
I
nitpick
think.
at it. You reckon?
What's up?
Like nitpick at what you've written down, so you're like, "Oh, that's good, that's bad, that's good, that's bad."
No, I'd say your first. I mean, yeah, you got to have your own taste of what you think you want to say, but the audience will let you know if it's good or not. That's the one positive about bombing. You know, it's like you learn more when you bomb than when you do well. You know,
very real, isn't it? It's very real. I do look forward to that day. So this podcast is called Podcast with an Accent. Now, I do ask. You, by the way, you are my second guest, so I've only done this obviously twice. But my question for you is: has there been any words that I've said during this, and you've been like, "I don't know what this Kiwi kid is saying," or is the accent crossed over? Obviously, people love. Well, we keep getting told here in New Zealand that people love our accent. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. It's different. You guys don't hear it on a daily basis, so I can understand why people gravitate towards it. But is there has the communication?
No, I think yeah, it's fine. I have a probably harder time with other accents. It's interesting though. Like there's maybe I like you'll use certain maybe terms or like what is it, colloquialisms, but I'll get it. Like they're not, it's not like anything weird. They're usually they make sense.
Yeah, full context.
It's no, it's fine. I think now with Taika Waititi being such a big thing out here, I think that people are more keen to understanding the New Zealand accent.
Yeah, he's definitely paved the way. Them and Fly the Conchords.
That dude's a fucking genius, man. I mean, he's beast. Fucking yeah.
The beast.
And Flight of the Conchords also. I mean, but also Jermaine and those guys. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows is one of my favorite movies of all time, man.
Oh, dude, that werewolves don't swear. We're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Yeah. The show's pretty good too, man. I've been watching the TV show,
good, but it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that Kiwi-esque about it. I don't.
Gotcha.
The Kiwi comedy. You've got to look up more Kiwi comedy, dude, because it's if you like English comedy, it's sort of like a darker, drier version of English comedy.
Well, speaking of one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think it's called, believe it's called Brain Dead in New Zealand, but Dead Alive is what it was called in the States. Have you ever seen that? It's Peter Jackson's first movie. It's a horror movie.
Is that with puppets in it?
No, that's Meet the Feebles. That's a good one too. There are puppets in there are sort of like, but Brain Dead, I think was the New Zealand release.
Yeah. I remember.
God, it's a I love it. I think it's a really fun. It's hard to find those escapist fun horror movies that are also funny, like sort of like Evil Dead. We have that here, but yeah, Brain Dead is or Dead Alive. But I remember being a kid going into the video store and the tagline, the sticker on the thing was the goriest movie of all time, and I was like, I need that right now. We're watching this, and so
I do know what you speak of, and I've been shown where it was filmed. You might sit in the car park and smoke something and go, oh, yeah, that's where that movie was filmed. It's very easy to get around Wellington where all those movies were filmed. So, you do see a lot of those scenes. Well, I should send you a couple of links to a couple of Kiwi movies like Eagle vs. Shark.
Okay.
Shark is a good one, sort of like
I feel like I've heard of that. Is that a Taika Waititi movie?
Yeah, all those guys are part of it, right? They're
okay.
They're a group of Rhys Darby, Brett McKenzie, Jermaine Clement, Taika Waititi. They all hang out together. They're all, I don't know if they're all from Wellington, but that's where they all came. That's where they sort of congregated.
Gotcha. What a group, man. What the fuck?
Oh, that guy's a beast, man.
Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
Oh, I didn't. So prior to watching it, I didn't know how to take it. And then I watched it and I was like, it's very, very intelligent.
It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to something so dark and to touch on it like that. It's just.
And it's also what's hard is to find the heart in something like that where it wasn't silly. It ends very like sweetly and like really, makes you feel a lot of different things, man.
Yeah, it's not offensive, eh? It's just so crazy how you can pull that off. And just
what the fuck,
And this era of time as well, to have the audacity to do something like that in this era of time, this woke era that we're living in.
Well, what I'll also say is I'm not so sure that the jury for me is still out on whether or not there is definite truth to this woke era, but I hear people say that a lot, like you can't do anything. And I think what it is they can't do anything. I think if you put in the work, you can make it happen. I hear a lot of people say like you can never make that movie. I'm pretty sure the South Park guys could. I think definitely with Jojo Rabbit. I think it takes a lot more work, but it's been proven now that it definitely is possible. But I guess what I'm saying is it's a testament to how genius some of these guys are.
Yeah.
I think lazy shit when people are lazy and they go, oh, you can't say anything anymore. It goes, no, you can't. You didn't say it right.
Yeah, yeah. It's nothing intelligent about it, right? It's not layered. It's just one single thing. There's no
For
layer to
sure.
if it's comedy or if it's horror, if it's thriller, whatever. But it,
Hmm.
and that's what Taika Waititi does. He layers all his movies. He's one thing leads into another, that leads into another, that leads into another. But then there's a backstory to all those things that lead into each other, and it's
Hmm.
very smart. He's a very intelligent guy. Yeah, he's definitely him and Brett McKenzie and Jermaine. How they did Fly the Concords and Reese Darby, and then Brett did the Muppets.
Hmm.
It's pretty powerful for Kiwis to see us on stage like that. I think it's such an awesome
Yeah.
thing. And I'm a big fan of Brett McKenzie, who was on Fly the Concords. He's the skinny one. His old band,
Yeah.
his old dub band, the Black Seeds. Should send you a link to them. They're
Oh, cool.
awesome.
I'll check that out, man. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
his whole band, it's all like summer dub music,
Cool.
just sort of like reggae, sort of dub, sort of feel good sort of music. It's awesome, man. He's so
Nice. Hell yeah.
talented, and all those guys. So he's in a group called, I'm going to get this wrong. I think they're called the Phoenix Foundation, and the band's
Okay.
about 20 or 30 deep. People just come in and out of this band, and it's
Cool.
so dope. And he's been in and out of the band, and these guys from other big bands that go into it. So I should send you some links to some really cool Kiwi music. But
Yeah, for sure. Do it.
you're more into punk, right? That's more.
I'm into everything, man. That's just sort of the battery that fueled my youth, and sort of, I look back at it as very uh pivotal thing for me, of as far as like doing it yourself, and sort of, those things. It's so important, I think.
Finding yourself, right? Finding yourself and finding your way.
For sure. And just anti-authority, and just sort of, fuck you, like, you're not going to tell me how to do these. I'm going to make it my own way.
Yeah, it was same with me with rap music, right?
Yeah, me too, man. I just got that. My girlfriend got me this for
Oh,
Valentine's Day. I got this
dude,
Public Enemy on
oh,
vinyl, so it's pretty
I-
cool.
I'm gonna get a record player so soon. I really want to listen to Bob Marley on record.
Oh, cool. Awesome, man. Yeah,
Bob
that'll be
Marley,
great.
he changed my life listening to him. Just not the hippie side of it, but just
Yeah, I like a lot of reggae music too, man.
just just to love people. That's where I stop being a prick to people, stop being mean to people, stop putting people down, just love them. That's what the vibe I got from it. So I'm a big fan of reggae music and rap music. I gravitated to Biggie
Yeah, me
Small.
too.
Gravitated to Biggie so much because he's a dark rapper, right? He raps
Yeah, for
his rap
sure.
suicidal thoughts. Now I've never really told people this,
Yeah,
but
Suicidal
it's
Thoughts.
one of
Yeah.
my favorite songs of all time is Suicidal Thoughts. I don't tell people that because I personally have suicidal thoughts, so people, question me for loving that song. But man,
Yeah.
that I don't give a fuck attitude is just so pure to me, right?
He's got a new Netflix thing coming out, I guess, soon.
Oh, really?
It's called I've Got a Story to Tell, or something like that. Yeah.
What story to tell? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
whoa! I wonder what that's about. Because do you know about that song? I got a story to tell.
No, I'm
Have
not
you
sure.
got
You do tell me. I'm sure I've heard it.
So I got a story to tell is just Biggie Smalls is rapping a story the whole time.
Okay.
He is rapping about him hooking up with some chick, and she's a New York's Knicks wife, and he's hooking up with her. And then during it, he comes home. The New York Knicks player comes home, and he's rapping this. New York Knicks player comes home. He's upstairs. The chick starts freaking out, and she tells him to get some water to delay the time of him coming upstairs. So he grabs his gun out, grabs a pillowcase, wraps it around her mouth, pulls a gun to her head. So when the NBA player comes upstairs, the guy freaks out. Doesn't think, oh, Biggie's been rooting my missus. He's thinking,
Yeah. Yeah.
Biggie's fucking over my wife and trying to get some money. The NBA player, pulls out money and gives him a few racks. And then Biggie
Oh,
walks away.
man.
He has racks of money and he just rooted the dude's wife. It's crazy.
Damn, that's wild. I think they basically probably just took the name from the song, but I think it's a documentary.
I would love if they talked about that. I would love it because Fat Joe, by accident on ESPN about 2-3 years ago, actually told everyone who the NBA player was.
Oh wow, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like all that shit.
yeah. So I was like, whoa. And then after he said it, he's like, oh no, just said this out loud. That look on his face, it was so funny.
Oh
But,
man.
Biggie is just, I love him just because
Yeah, he's one of the best, man.
he's raw, right? He's very, very raw. I never gravitated to Tupac, but Biggie is, and I guess it sounds right. It's someone's voice that you can just gravitate towards.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Talking of voices, do voices when you're doing stand up? Do you change your voice or do you just try to? So, because I'm worried because Kiwis have
Not
monotone
not
voice.
really, man. I feel like
So I'm worried about my voice, how monotone it can be. I want to make it
nah.
either
I
peaks.
don't think you're monotone. I think I can I think that's like I don't know, maybe to like lazy listeners, but I can you don't sound like a robot to me, but I think I don't really do voices. Maybe I will at some point. I think at the moment, part of I've been working my whole life to be my true self, and I think that if I can tell a story right, I can do it in my own voice. But maybe that's just lazy too. Maybe I'm scared. Maybe I'm nervous. I envy people that do act outs and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to get there at some point.
Yeah, well, because you do, I guess you don't do voices, but you definitely do acting when you're with Kill Tony. You
Yeah, for
hang out
sure.
on stage in your postman gears, or
Yeah,
coming out as your what's the Mexican girl you play?
Jolena.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've thought about doing that voice on stage and stuff. Yeah.
you should do. This is me thinking out loud and just popped in my head, but old Giannis Pappas does his
Oh yeah, I love
character.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
they're good. And he just does it for two,
If
three
we
minutes.
could do a collaboration at some point, that'd be cool.
Oh, that would be. I didn't even think of that. That's genius. That would fucking work so well.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
you
funny.
should just do your clips and just do a 2-3 minute segment and chuck them up on YouTube, and just have a
You know
backdrop.
what's funny though? It's like then I gotta put the makeup on. I gotta get the wig. It's like, I can't be bothered.
Are you insulting females right now? They're daily.
No, no, I'm respecting them. I'm saying I can't believe they have what it takes to
Oh,
do that on a daily
oh,
basis.
imagine having had to put a face on every day. It's
Yeah, it's well. I mean, I
just
guess we all do in our own way.
yeah. It's a moisturizer is mine, just so I don't look ashy. That's the only thing.
Also, not to rush you, I do have to pee pretty soon, so maybe I don't know how many. I'm chilling, but I don't know how long you go or whatever.
We've been going for, I'm guessing, I can't see a time, but I'm guessing about an hour 25. If you want to get up and go toilet, you're more than welcome, or we can wind this down. Either or, I'm not bothered. Holtzman got up and went toilet twice. There was a video call during his podcast.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and he was pissing right next to the microphone too.
Oh, that's pretty
So
funny.
funny. Oh, and his cleaner walked in. Oh, it was to me.
That's
It was
pretty
so.
great.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know how the audience took it, but I thought it was the funniest thing. And he's pulling books up, and
Yeah,
His brother Jay rings in, and he's showing pictures of his brother Jay, and we're laughing about how, because you know how your nose and your ears don't stop growing. His brother
yeah.
Jay has got a massive fucking snozzer on him, and it was so funny. He's just
Is
laughing.
it nose and ear, or is it nose and ear hair?
Wow, yeah, the hair does not stop. I've noticed that on my old man.
I think that keeps growing, right? And your fingernails after you're dead.
Yeah, your fingernails after you're dead. That's why I'm going to be turned to ash. Well, actually, I want to go. I want to get put in one of those pot plants that turn into a tree. Have you seen those? You get put in
Oh
some.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, I want to be a tree at the top of a hill. I reckon that would be pretty dope.
That is dope, man. They'll come cut you down.
Yeah,
Kidding.
yeah. Do the old 1X, the old UB40 song, and get the old 1X out and just fucking cut me down by the knees. We can wind this down, Joel, if you want, or you can go to what we say in Māori.
Oh,
You can go to
what do you say it? How do you say it?
Wharipaku.
Oh fuck, you both times the camera snagged, but it sounded
Wharipaku.
Wharipaku.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
pretty
cool. I
close.
like that.
So what that means is shit house is what that means. Whare means
Oh,
house.
that's funny.
I
Oh
tried
yeah.
to I tried to learn a little bit of Māori. My Māori is average, but we as a British came out. Well, I tell people I'm Scottish, not British, but we as a British came over here and took over their culture to a degree, right? We colonized New Zealand, so I think I tried to learn about the Māoris and learn about their language. My daughter's got a Māori middle name, which I don't even know if my parents know that. My daughter has a Māori middle name, so they're going to find that out today. Her middle name's Aroha, which means love.
Oh, okay, cool. That's nice.
Yeah, it's just they've got a beautiful language. Their language sounds gorgeous. Their syllables are real similar to Japanese, but they're cool people, and I like to learn. If you're living in a country and you're not the indigenous people, you should learn about them, right? I think you should.
Yeah, life's better with others, and it makes things interesting, and let's all just fucking get along. And
yeah, man, just fucking have a conversation with somebody, learn something, learn something about people that are not the same as you. Stop having, you can hang out with your own shade, but man, just try. Just try. That's why I think I can hang out with anyone, because as a teenager and as a kid, I like talking to brown kids. I like talking to the Asian kids. I like talking to the skater kids who are, all different types. I like talking to the rugby kids and, just learning different groups, right? And then I can mold myself to, I don't know, try to be well-rounded.
Yeah, and you start to find what the universal truths are, amongst all human beings. It's
we're all the same.
Closer to basically, yeah. I guess maybe let's we can wind down. I do have, only because I gotta pee and then I have some work to do before this show tonight. I wanna sit and sort of go through my notes, but we can do this again, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to shoot off. I don't want to stop your prep. There are going to be kids running through the house very soon, and
nice, dude.
Brand new microphone, it picks up everything, and so I am worried about it. So we will wind down. Joel, thank you so much. I just reached out to Joel on a whim on Instagram, and Joel didn't really say much other than, yeah, sure, I'll do it, and I was just like, fuck, that's a bit of a Kiwi attitude, by the way. I think you work well in New Zealand. It's just, yeah, I'll do it.
Awesome. Man, I'd love to get out there at some point, man. That'd be awesome.
Dude, I would welcome you with open arms. Yeah, that's the Kiwi attitude. It's like, can I have some help? It's like, yeah, dude, whatever, sure. And it seems so blasé by the person saying, yeah, sure, but it's actually like, yeah, I don't care. I'll do whatever. I'm keen to hang with you. I'm keen to help you.
Hell yeah. I like that.
And that's the Kiwi mantra, rather. It's who we are as people. We like to look after each other. We like to love each other. We like to look after each other. And I definitely get that vibe from you. So I appreciate you sitting down with me, dude. This went way better than I thought it was. Had probably 3 panic attacks while I was dreaming last night about this. So that's always fun.
I'm the perfect person to have those around, because I've been there, man. I understand it. I think it's great. I think you're figuring it out, as you go along. I like that. I like watching. We did the same thing with my show. I didn't know what the fuck it was going to be, So.
That's why I gravitated towards you, dude. It was Thanks, very much the same. It was being on that same wavelength of you, listening to you, talking about your panic attacks and your anxieties, depression, right? And this, by the way, this is not, I don't live my life by this. I don't talk about this. I've never really talked about this. My friends are going to be like, holy fuck, here we go. Never heard this shit before. But it's just, I guess you sort of extract that out of me, because I did want to talk to you about this. You're a very open book, and similarities, all the parallels for me are quite similar. I've been through.
I heard. Do you know Mr. Rogers? Do you guys have him out there, or did you ever?
I've heard you guys talk about this, Mr. Rogers. I don't know who that is.
It's he was a children's TV show host, but from all accounts, a really nice, smart, sweet guy who was into like child development and things like that. But one of his quotes that I really love is, "If it's mentionable, it's manageable." And I think that I've tried to do that with the stuff that I do, where if I can mention it, then I can also manage it for myself. So.
Well, yeah, I guess that is me in a nutshell. Hence why I'm doing this podcast, right? Because if I'm out loud, I'm going to have to get up on fucking stage. So it is
self
out. So I'm going to take that with me, and and the pot plant one you said as well.
Did you have any, like, I don't know, I know you kept looking at your computer. If you have any questions that you have left, you can go ahead and shoot those off. Or if you were just like,
no, I wanted it to be thank you though. I wanted it to be a fluid conversation, and it's gone really well. I have key points in front of me, but I wanted us to keep the conversation going, and it's done that. So only thing I wanted to ask was shout out your IG, shout out your YouTube page. Not that you're going to get any followers from me, dude, but
no.
I want you to promote yourself. And guys, do look up Joel, and look out for some of his drumming clip on Instagram, and look at some of the Kill Tony sets. This guy does massive backflips off the top of his drum set, which is fucking crazy. He also wears, I don't know how big it is. I'm not really good with dick size, but probably a 10-inch dildo. He straps himself and does a backflip at the same time with a 10-inch strap on. That's fucking amazing.
What a talented guy. No, I'm kidding. I'm you know, but it's like, when you're like, you might not get any followers, it's like, I'm into brick by brick stuff. So even if one person's never heard of me and they watch it, that's fine, man. If not, I had a fun time with you. I'm at Mostly Sorry on everything. I post everything on there, Instagram. So, find me there. And I usually post everything I'm doing there. That's my main hub.
So that's at Mostly Sorry on YouTube, and that's at Mostly Sorry on IG.
I don't know. I guess is that my YouTube? Mostly Sorry. Anyway, IG is probably go there and I'll.
The name of your podcast is called Mostly Sorry. So
cool.
If they just Google, rather jump on Mostly Sorry and YouTube it, they will definitely find it. But I will find the name of your So the name of Joel's YouTube account is called Joel Jimenez. So go subscribe to him. He's got 1,170 something followers. That's 1,170 more than me. So I appreciate that. No, but thank you, Joel. You're a dope dude, man. I would like to have a chat with you more, probably in private, just about the brain thing. I think we connected there. I think, the parallels are very similar. So I think, thank you so much, dude. I
think I don't know why I cut you off. Thanks for having me. This is dope. Shout out to New Zealand. This is a cool thing for me. It's just a Saturday. I'm like, hey, what'd you do today? Oh, I talked to someone on the other side of the globe. So this is nice. I love meeting new people. I love having friends all over the world. So this is awesome, man. And whenever, hit me up if things should be I don't know when things calm down for me, but anytime, I'll do it again. Once you feel like you want to have me back, I'll do it.
I'll definitely have you back. And you've definitely found a new friend from New Zealand, and hopefully you find a couple more. Appreciate your time. Tell your friends to come on my podcast. I try to reach out to them, but they don't look at their messages, so that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. They get hidden, you have.
Dude, I couldn't take offense to it, right? These people are living pretty, not intense lives, but, fast-paced life is probably how I would put it. I would love to get Jeremiah on here. I've got David Lucas lined up because I've done a little bit of work for him. I did like his YouTube, a couple of his clips on YouTube and his Instagram, the one when he's roasting Andrew Schultz. So I've done a couple of things for him. So he doesn't owe me, but he would like to sit down with me. And William does owe me. William just doesn't message me back. William is William.
He's a free spirit, baby.
He's a free spirit. And that's why I cannot take any offense to that, because he moves to the own beat of his own drum, And I don't knock him for that. I definitely do not knock him for that. So he's a cool dude, and I appreciate him. But Joel, thank you so much. Everybody, check out Joel Jimenez on. I hope I'm pronouncing your name, by the way.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
we don't have Mexican people in New Zealand, by the way, so none of us know how to pronounce it correctly.
Well, you will soon. I'll be over there. No. Yeah.
Bring your family. We can go to a football game potentially, because I know you're a football fan.
For sure.
I did go to the Mexico versus New Zealand football game
damn,
to get to the FIFA World Cup.
Cool.
It was like we knew we were going to lose. All New Zealanders knew we were going to lose, but seeing the spectacle of the Mexicans coming over and showing us their style of football, fuck, it was so awesome to watch. So,
For sure. Hell yeah.
hold on to that's my thing for now. But Joel, thank you so much, and you take care, dude, and look after yourself.
Yeah, thank you, man. You too. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your Sunday, I guess. There, right?
Sunday morning, dude. 9:30.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
9:30.
there you go. Hell yeah. Yeah, enjoy your day and message me, man. If you whatever, send me those links and stay in touch.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Cool, man.
Awesome. All right, peace, man.
Sweet. Take care, dude.
Later, man.